Good evening, everyone. Before we begin tonight's meeting, I would like to remind everyone to turn off their cell phones and electronic devices. I would also like to acknowledge that the school board meeting is taking place on Treaty 1 land and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. Call to order and roll call. Mr. Cochin, proceed with the roll call, please.
Thank you. Roll call for the regular board meeting in Winnipeg School Division for February 1, 2021. Trustee Dumont.
Here.
Trustee Reed.
Here.
Trustee Murdoch.
I can't hear.
We're not really able to hear you, Mr. Cochin.
Can't hear you.
I'll say my microphone's on. So.
It's like you're in a tunnel far, far away.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear all of you, but I guess you're having trouble hearing me. Better?
No.
No?
Okay, I'm going to try without my mic. Without my speaker. Can now? Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do because I've got.
Yes, we can hear you, but there's feedback.
Yeah, because I took my. Okay, how about now? Is that okay?
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with Trustee Reed and then Trustee Murdoch.
You're gone again.
Okay, I'm going to try without.
No.
Your microphone's working still. The last bit is good. I think just other people were still unmuted and there's crossover voices.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll do it without my headphones plugged in for the moment. So Trustee Murdoch.
Here?
Trustee Dumont.
Here.
Trustee Shatkowski.
Here.
Trustee Chen.
Here.
Trustee Broughton.
Here.
Okay. Approval of agenda, moved by Trustee Broughton, seconded by Trustee Chen, that the agenda be approved. Are there any additions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Reading and confirming of minutes, moved by Trustee Reed, seconded by Trustee Shankowski, that the minutes dated January 11th, 2021 be approved as distributed. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Presentation and consideration of reports. 4.1. Superintendent's report number 1-2021 dated February 1st, 2021. École Sir William Osler School envelope and roof replacement. Moved by Trustee Broughton, seconded by Trustee Reed, that the subject to Public Schools Finance Board approval, the tender of Regent Construction Inc. to supply all material and perform all work in connection with the envelope and roof replacement project at École Sir William Osler School be accepted in accordance with the plans and specifications therefore, for the total amount of $2,434,441 being the tender price, including provincial sales tax, excluding goods and services tax, and that the proper officers of the division be authorized to enter into a contract with Regent Construction Inc. for the carrying out of the work. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Number 2, Carpathia School envelope replacement consultant appointment. Moved by Trustee Dumont, seconded by Trustee Chen, that subject to schools finance branch approval, the proper officers of the division be authorized to enter into a contract with LM Architectural Group to provide architectural consulting services for the envelope replacement project at Carpathia School in accordance with the school's finance branch fee schedule. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Number 3, Elmwood High School Steam Heating System Replacement Phase 2 Consultant Appointment. Moved by Trustee Dumont, seconded by Trustee Reed, that, subject to school's finance branch approval, the proper officers of the division be authorized to enter into a contract with Alliance Engineering Services, Inc. to provide mechanical consulting services for the steam heating system replacement Phase 2 project at Elmwood High School in accordance with the school's finance branch fee schedule. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Number 4, Mulvey School Elevator Addition Consultant Appointment. Moved by Trustee Broughton, seconded by Trustee Shinkowski, that, subject to school's finance branch approval, the proper officers of the division be authorized to enter into a contract with Pico Architecture, Inc. to provide architectural consulting services for the elevator addition project at Mulvey School in accordance with the school's finance branch fee schedule. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. 4.1, Finance Personnel Committee Report number 1-2021 dated January 11th, 2021. Moved by Trustee Broughton, seconded by Trustee Reed, that the Finance Personnel Committee Report number 1-2021 dated January 11th, 2021 be received as information. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. New business, 5.1, Indigenous Ad Hoc Committee. Motion, notice that was given by Trustee Dumont, January 11th, 2021. Moved by Trustee Dumont. Can I have a seconder, please? Trustee Broughton is a seconder. A, that the motion to establish an advisory council on Indigenous Education Subcommittee in accordance with procedural bylaws section 41.0 be rescinded. B, that an Indigenous ad hoc committee be established which is comprised of trustees, administration, and representatives from the community. C, that trustees blank and blank be nominated as members to the Indigenous ad hoc committee. In accordance with procedural bylaw 1263, clause 42.2 states that any member who introduces a motion which results in the establishment of a special committee shall chair the committee. And D, that administration, in consultation with the committee trustees, develop the terms of reference for the Indigenous Ad Hoc Committee for approval by the Board of Trustees. And E, that the committee provide a report including any recommendations for consideration or approval by the Board of Trustees. Trustee Dumont, would you like to speak on this?
Yes, thank you. So as my colleagues around the board are aware, back in September of 2020, the Winnipeg Indigenous Executive Circle issued a State of Equity in Education report that outlined 10 calls to action. The State of Equity reports were designed to promote evidence-based strategies that lead to the development of equity policies. After the release of that report, there was some discussion around wanting to be able to establish a committee that reports directly to the Board of Trustees to enable to undertake some of the work outlined in the calls to action. The report itself does outline a lot of good work that the Winnipeg School Division is doing and recognizes the Winnipeg School Division as a leader in promoting equity-based policies. However, also in the report is evidence that there is still work to do, and from a continuous improvement lens, this motion is proposing that we establish an ad hoc committee that includes representation from the community to be able to examine these calls to action and what the Winnipeg School Division can do to build upon some of the successes that it has seen over the years, so that it can improve particularly our representation of Indigenous teachers and administration throughout the division. We've all heard how important that representation can be when it comes to the success of Indigenous students, and indeed even what might end up being their own choice to pursue a career in the field of education. We've seen some of the work that we've done, including the Build from Within program, which has had a very positive start. Positive enough, in fact, that we've looked at other ways in which this type of model may be used to promote more teachers from other demographics, including our French language teachers, and there could even be others. So I think the work of this committee would primarily be to start with these calls to action, and eventually may also evolve to address other Indigenous education related issues and priorities for the Winnipeg School Division. And I'll leave it there for any questions or discussion.
Is there any discussion? So before we begin to open the floor for discussion, I would like to remind trustees that section 23.1 of procedural bylaw 1263 also states that a member shall not speak longer than 10 minutes nor twice on the same motion unless in explanation of something which may have been misunderstood or in reply to questions not to exceed 2 minutes. Jennifer?
I would like to speak in favor of this motion, and I want to thank my colleague for serving this motion. As the board approved the Newcomer Education Committee 2 weeks ago, I hope that through both committees and the discussions that would take place at the table, issues of inclusion and the systemic racism are to be brought to the forefront. And I look forward to seeing all the recommendations and look forward to seeing all the discussions stemming from the report that come into the board from this committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Broughton?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to first acknowledge the great work of the previous iteration of this committee that will be rescinded as a part of this motion. The Advisory Council on Indigenous Education Subcommittee has done phenomenal work for the Winnipeg School Division over the past few years, and in groundbreaking in a lot of ways with its introduction brought forward by former trustee Sherry Rollins and championed by the board of the day. And we've had incredible community representatives that have brought voices to the Winnipeg School Division Board of Trustees and really culminated in two very significant changes to the Winnipeg School Division. One being our land acknowledgement statement that we have in every single one of our schools in the Winnipeg School Division, and an acknowledgement statement that takes place at the beginning of every school day and at the beginning of every school board meeting is, I think, significant and definitely is a starting point for improving the way the Winnipeg School Division operates and acknowledges the unique needs and challenges for Indigenous education in the Winnipeg School Division. I think the other major piece that we can celebrate is the work to develop and renew the Indigenous education policy. And so I can't speak highly enough of the work that this committee has done, both from community representatives, from division staff, administration, and board trustees over the past number of years in acknowledging this work. I look forward to more of that excellent work in the future. I think the way the previous committee was structured kind of handcuffed us from a procedural point of view, and I'm very excited to see this change, and I look forward to the work that can come from it. I share in Trustee Chen's excitement for what this and other committees are going to be able to do in the near future and long into the future for the Winnipeg School Division. My only concern is I appreciate this is, again, just a structural piece, but the name of the committee being Indigenous Education Ad Hoc Committee doesn't give the word the words ad hoc don't give it the gravity and respect I think this committee deserves. So I hope in the future, as this committee meets and the terms of reference is developed and approved by the board, we can maybe use a slightly different language and words to title this committee. And again, I realize that this is a structural piece born out of procedure. So it's my hope that we can, give this committee and its members, both in the community and from the board and administration, a slightly improved title for the future and the great work that this committee will do. I will be supporting this motion and will be voting in favor, and I thank Trustee Dumont for bringing it forward.
Thank you, Trustee Broughton. So we are going to move now to moved by Trustee Dumont, seconded by, I need a seconder on this, Trustee Chen, that the motion to establish an advisory council on Indigenous Education Subcommittee in accordance with procedural bylaw section 41.0 be rescinded. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Moved by Trustee Dumont. I need a seconder, please. Trustee Reed. Seconded by Trustee Reed, that an Indigenous ad hoc committee be established, which is comprised of trustees, administration, and representatives from the community. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Moved by Trustee Dumont. I need a seconder, please. Seconded by Trustee Shinkowski, that trustees blank and blank be nominated as members to the Indigenous Ad Hoc Committee. So in accordance with procedural bylaw 1263, clause 42.2 states that any member who introduces a motion which results in the establishment of a special committee shall chair the committee. So we need 2 nominations. Do we have any nominations from the floor?
Chair Trustee Broughton here. I will nominate Trustee Adele and Trustee Broughton as members of the Indigenous Ad Hoc Committee.
Okay, is there any other nominations from the floor that would like to be on the committee? Any other nominations? Okay, so that trustees Broughton and Edel be nominated as members to the Indigenous Ad Hoc Committee. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Moved by Trustee Dumont, seconded, I need a seconder again, please. Trustee Chen. that administration, in consultation with the committee trustees, develop the terms of reference for the Indigenous Ad Hoc Committee for approval by the Board of Trustees. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Moved by Trustee Dumont. I need a seconder, please. Trustee Reed. That the committee provide a report including any recommendations for consideration or approval by the Board of Trustees. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. 5.2, Bylaw 1292, second and final reading, borrowing bylaw. Moved by Trustee Broughton, seconded by Trustee Reed. I'm hearing background noise, please. That bylaw 1292, a bylaw of the Winnipeg School Division to authorize the borrowing of monies from any bank or credit union upon credit of the Winnipeg School Division for the year 2021 be read a second time in short. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Mr. Cochin?
Can everyone hear me now? Yes? Okay. A bylaw of the Winnipeg School Division. A bylaw of the Winnipeg School Division to authorize the borrowing of monies from any bank or credit union upon credit of the Winnipeg School Division for the year 2021.
Moved by Trustee Broughton, seconded by Trustee Reed, that the rules be suspended in order for bylaw 1292 to be read a third time. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Moved by Trustee Broughton, seconded by Trustee Reed, that bylaw 1292, a bylaw of the Winnipeg School Division, be read a third time in short and passed. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Mr. Cochin?
A bylaw of the Winnipeg School Division to authorize the borrowing of monies from any bank or credit union upon credit of the Winnipeg School Division for the year 2021.
Thank you. 5.3, MSBA Regional Director. The term for the MSBA Regional Director is ending March 15th, 2021. The current MSBA Regional Director is Trustee Broughton. So do we have any nominations? It'll start on March 16th, 2021. Is there any nominations from the floor? Trustee Dumont? Trustee Dumont, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
Sorry. On the other app, the microphone turns red and then I know I'm on mute. I would like to nominate Trustee Broughton.
Trustee Broughton, do you accept the nomination?
I greatly appreciate the support of my colleagues. If someone else is interested, I won't be opposed to handing it off. There is a fair bit of work, and the pandemic has made my rest of my life quite busy lately. So I'd gladly turn it down if someone else was quite interested in this. I'll gladly do it just as equally. I just want to share in the wealth.
Okay. Thank you, Trustee Broughton. Are there any other nominations be the representative on MSBA Regional Director? Any other nominations? Third and final time. Go ahead. Go ahead, Trustee Chen.
I may be interested if other trustees.
I will nominate Trustee Chen, and I will decline my nomination with great thanks to Trustee Dumont.
Thank you, Trustee Broughton.
Trustee Chen, so that Trustee Chen be named as the MSBA Regional Director for the term commencing March 16th, 2021. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Agenda information, moved by Trustee Shinkowski, seconded by Trustee Chen, that information correspondence IC 11-21 to IC 16-21 be received as information. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Business matters as defined in Rule 44.7, moved by Trustee Dumont, seconded by Trustee Shinkowski, that the board move into business matters as defined in Rule 44.7. Carried.
Madam Chair, I would like to report the following. The members of the board discussed the Waterford Springs School plaque, received an update on the by-election, on a meeting with Brian Mays, City of Winnipeg School Board Liaison Officer, discussed consensus decision-making, a personal matter, École River Heights School, a leaves of absence report, and suspension reports. At 8:15 p.m., the board moved into closed camera with Chief Superintendent, Secretary Treasurer, Director of Human Resources, and Board and Community Liaison Officer to discuss Code of Conduct. I move that the student named in the confidential memorandum from the Chief Superintendent dated February 1st, 2021 be submitted to the Manitoba School Boards Association for consideration for the MSBA Student Citizenship Award.
Can I get a seconder, please? Trustee Reed, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
I move that the proper officers of the division be authorized to enter into an agreement with the Community Education Development Association, interim organizational sponsor for the Indigenous Education Caring Society off-campus program.
Can I get a seconder? Trustee Shinkowski, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Moved by Trustee Reed that the meeting be adjourned. All in favor? Oh.
Chair,
Sorry.
I have one more motion to
Sorry.
forward. That's all right.
Sorry.
In camera. I move that consensus decision-making be referred to the Governance Committee.
Can I get a seconder? Trustee Reed, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Moved by Trustee Reed that the meeting be adjourned. All in favor? Carried. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.